Good evening. I hope you guys have been doing well. So I've made a new video and I've entitled it Abomination of Desolation. And this was one of the more difficult videos to make for me. And at one stage I was quite despondent, but I have found something that gave me a little bit of hope. But I found a whole lot of new information. And I thought to show you how it's constructed before I insert it into the existing timeline, because that timeline is already so cluttered. And the first date where I had a new revelation is December 14, 2020. Now, if you recall, that was a solar eclipse that happened in the middle of two other solar eclipses, and those two solar eclipses were 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days apart. So a fairly unique solar eclipse. And these three solar eclipses formed an Aleph and a Tav over the USA, another extremely unique characteristic. And previously, when I studied the data, I only looked at the prophetic calendar because it was like a hidden 13th month year, and I was totally consumed with that. And I only now thought to have another look at it, because obviously I've learned some new things in the past year or so. And I've looked at it on the normal full moon calendar. And it was a major oversight on my behalf not to look at it sooner, and I apologize. But what I found deeply disturbed me, but it also served as a confirmation of what I already knew. Okay, so here you can see the year 2020. You've got April the 8th as New Moon Day in April, or April the 8th as Nisan 1 on the Nisan 15 calendar. And here you've got the 9th month called Kislev. And the first of Kislev is November the 30th, and that is on the Nisan 15 calendar, the heavenly calendar, the one that wasn't frozen for 24 hours. And the 14th of December 2020 is the 15th of Kislev. And if you have watched some of my previous videos, you know that I've been focusing a lot on 15 Kislev, because that is the day on which the abomination was set up in the book of Maccabees. And the 15th Kislev 2020 was the abomination of desolation. And on that day, the human body temples were left desolate. And I have now since begun to really research into the book of Maccabees. And I've realized that it contains code. And it's all to do with the end times. But you can see how unique this day is. It is in the middle of two solar eclipses. It formed an Aleph and a Tav, and it was on the 14th of December, and it is the 15th of Kislev as well. So for anyone to take in this information and discount it, then I will say that you are living in a state of denial, because at this point the evidence is overwhelmingly in favor of pointing to the fact that this day is a very, very unique day, and it's specifically tied to the Bible. In 1 Maccabees 1 verse 54 it reads, Now the 15th day of the month Kislev in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar. Now Jesus was killed by the Antichrist rulers ruling at Judea at that time. You should investigate all books they removed from the Bible. The Feast of Hanukkah that we know today is to commemorate the Maccabees. That is their feast. It is because of their actions that we have the Feast of Hanukkah today. And Jesus himself celebrated this feast in John 10 verse 22 to 23. I would strongly advise everyone to read the book of Maccabees. And you can find the book of Maccabees at the King James Bible site. Here I've got a screenshot of the site and chapter 1, and you can see there I've got a link to it. Look at verse 1, and it says, And it happened after that Alexander. Now that is Alexander the Great, who was Greekan. And this study that I've done centers around the book of Daniel. And the book of Maccabees is applicable because of the following verses in Daniel. There are more, but I've highlighted 2 here. In Daniel 8 it says, The ram which I saw having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia, and that's Greece and Iran. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. And in Daniel 10 it says, Then said he, Know thou wherefore I come unto thee, and now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia, And when I am gone forth, lo, the Prince of Grecia shall come. Okay, so now we're looking at the timeline, but this is an alternative timeline to the one I have, although it is going to slot within the other one, or the other one is going to slot into this one, sort of timelines within timelines. Maybe I should call the video that. But you can see it's Maccabees chapter 1 verse 7, and it says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. So this 12 is applicable. And in Daniel 10 we're talking about the Prince of Grecia. And this is a 12-year period, and it refers to a spiritual war that the angels are waging on our behalf. So we can see that the war begins on the 14th of December, 15 Kislev, where the abomination of desolation began. And it runs for 12 years until the 14th of December in the year 32, which also is 27 Kislev, and that's when the rain stopped. But that is just an interesting observation. Okay, the next point in the timeline is October the 7th. We can see it over here. And God was born as a human on the Feast of Trumpets on 24 September in the year 3 BC. Now this is a Julian date. All dates before 1582, where Pope Gregory made his changes, are Julian dates. So to convert it to Gregorian, we have to add 13 days. And this gives us the correct Gregorian birth date of 7 October. And you can see that 7 October over there. And it is the Feast of Trumpets as well. So the date 7 October will only fall on the Feast of Trumpets every 19 years due to the metonic cycle of the moon. And I surmise that it will not fall on 7 October again, ever again. In other words, this is the last time that it will ever be on 7 October, because I sincerely doubt that the world can continue for another 19 years. So that is the last time where the 7 October and the Feast of Trumpets will fall on the same day. And that is Jesus' birthday. And this is part of the timeline, a crucial part. And here you can see 2025, and 7 October is the 7th month and the first day of the 7th month, the Feast of Trumpets. So we're going to be looking at Daniel 9 specifically, and specifically verses 25 to 27. And we all know these verses. And it's just this verse 25 we're not going to be looking so much at, because that's self-explanatory. So the going forth of the command to restore and build Jerusalem shall be 69 weeks. So everyone knows that, and it's been worked out 490 years and all that. And there's 1 week left of the 70, and that is the last 7 years. And, that's how we get our 7 years. But then verse 26, it begins and it says, and after 62 weeks, now that's 62 weeks, shall Messiah be cut off. Now people say Jesus was killed in the middle of the week, but that is not a 69, that's a 62. So there's definitely a continuation problem between verse 25 and 26. And I think this timeline gives an alternative explanation or interpretation of Daniel 9. So week 69 leaves us with one remaining week, and he's referring to the last remaining week. But verse 26 specifically refers to after 62 weeks and cannot be referring to the last week. So I thought this must be a code, because I know that the Bible's filled with code, and God can't help himself. He's so intelligent. Just to use the word intelligent is giving an insult to God, because he's so far beyond that. So I thought, okay, let me see if I can find something, a different interpretation. Instead of going with years and multiplying, let's say the 62 weeks are indeed days. And if you times it by 7, it's 434 days. Now, the moment I saw that 434 days, I got very excited, because I know that Jesus was 33 and 217 days old when he was crucified. And 2 times 217 days are 434 days. So I thought that maybe this is a code. Because if this code pans out, that means that I have Jesus' birthday correct, and I have his crucifixion date correct. Because otherwise this will not fit. This only fits if he was born on the 24th of September, Feast of Trumpets 3 BC, and if he was crucified on the 28th of April in the year 32. So otherwise it can't fit. So anyway, so I thought, okay, maybe this is a way for Jesus saying that there is a code here, but it's obviously 2 times 217. Okay, so the Levites began their service at the age of 30. And Jesus is the high priest, so it makes sense to me that he would also begin his service or his preparation at the age of 30. So if you take his age at crucifixion, which is 33 years, 217 days, and you subtract 30 from that, you get 3 years, 217 days. So 3 years and 217 days is the period from when Jesus' mission began until his crucifixion. But it's not where his ministry began. That is a different day. And as 434 days are 217 times 2, I multiplied the 3 years, 217 days by 2, and I got 6 years, 434 days. Then I had a look at how many days that is, and 6 years, 434 days are 2,625 days. Now that made me very excited because 2,625 days are basically 1,335 days plus 1,290 days. And I thought, now what are the chances of this? Some guy on the internet found what he believes is Jesus' birthday and his crucifixion, and if you times that by 2, it gets to a total that you can is 1,335 days plus 1,290 days. I mean, what's the odds of that? And you know, I've been speaking about coincidences, many times. But now I knew that it was indeed a code, and I was starting to get really excited at this point. Then I thought to myself, where can I use the 2,625 days? I thought, is there a day anywhere in the recent past or recent future that is unique? Sort of like a purpose was or something like that. Because it can't be too far in the future because we're running out of time. And then I found it that day, and it's the 7th of October 2025, which is Jesus' birthday, but his real birthday in Gregorian terms, which is 24 Julian, which is 24 September in Julian. So counting 2,625 days from 7 October comes to the 14th of December in the year 2032. And that is now the 12 years that you saw already there. So counting from 7 October, the 6 years, 434 days, which is 3 years, 217 days times 2, and happen to include the 1,335 and 1,290 days, brings us to the 14th of September. And all these counts are exclusive, which I found quite interesting because so far most of my counts have been inclusive. I don't mind doing inclusive counts or exclusive counts as long as all the counts are then exclusive or all the counts are inclusive, and not a little bit of a mixed match. But I can see that this was definitely written for our time. And this 12 years, it was given to us by the book of Maccabees and in Daniel as the length of the spiritual reign of the king of Grecia, with Michael and Gabriel fighting this king on behalf of those that took the abomination that left their body temples desolate. Thinking how they are fighting for humanity brings me to tears, because this is the fight that Michael was fighting when he met with Daniel and on the 24th day next to the river Hiddekel. This is the spiritual fight, battle that they have been waging on behalf of those that took the abomination. Because the abomination of desolation is not the mark of the beast, but it does leave you defenseless. Okay, so having seen that the 625 days fits perfectly from 7 October 25 in the year 2025 to 14 December 32, and it consists out of 1,335 days and 1,290 days, the logical step was for me to have a look and see what that date is. And I brought it down and I had a look and I saw, okay, it's the 3rd of June in the year 2029, and that is Shavuot. Now, in some of my previous videos, I've mentioned that the 1,290 days to me has to have something to do with Shavuot or Ascension Day or something to that effect, because it says it'll be 1,290 days since the daily sacrifice was removed, and that is Jesus' daily sacrifice for our sins. He became our daily sacrifice when the temple era ended, and he became and his spirit is within us, so we have our own temples, and that is because of his daily sacrifice. And when that is removed, it's 1,290 days until all things be completed. And here you can see 2029, and I've got the Nisan 1, and then I've got April 13, which is Apophis Day, the close flyby of Apophis. And counting from the 14th, you can see the 14th, and it's 50 days, and you get to the 3rd of June 2029, which is Shavuot. And that is in the middle now. So now the coincidences are just piling up, and it's at this point I was getting a little bit freaked out. And at this point I was actually very despondent because I was looking for a connection to the 6th of December in the year 2029, which is crucial on the timeline that I have established so far as where the mark of the beast is given. Because at this point it's taken me a week to get this far, because I thought, look, at this point I was thinking that the abomination might have been the mark, but it isn't. So you can take heart in that. Just don't be fooled again. So having looked at the 1,335, 1,290 days point over here, which is Shavuot, the next step for me was to look at what is the midpoint. So the midpoint of the 6 years, 434 days is 11 May 2029. But this is now counting 7 October, Feast of Trumpets as the first day. You have to. It's Tishri 1. You have to count it. So it is a way of inclusive counting, but you have to count it. You can't start counting from the second day in the month. But more specifically, it's 2,625 days divided by 2. So this midpoint is 1,312.5 days, or basically 1,312 days and 12 hours. Now, as the full moon calendar begins at 6 o'clock in the morning, we have to add the 12 hours to 11 May at 6 o'clock in the morning. And this gives us 6 o'clock p.m. on 11 March 2029. And I thought that's quite strange, why God would make it in such a way that there's 12 hours and we're now at 6 o'clock. I mean, why is it of importance what time it is in the day? I mean, God is almighty, could have made it just a even divide by 2 and it's an even number. Why specifically did he want us to get to this 6 o'clock in the evening? That's when the evening begins. And that is because the 11th of May in the year 2029 is the date of the Last Supper on the second Passover calendar. And this blew me away. I wasn't expecting this. Not only is the date the Last Supper, but the time is 6 o'clock in the evening. And the Last Supper date is a crucial date in the study, because this is when Jesus made his only covenant with us whilst he was on earth. Jesus only ever made one covenant with humanity when he was on earth, and that was at the Last Supper. And at this point I was still very down, because I was saying, God, please don't let the 14th December 2020 be the mark. And then I found it. 11 May 2029 is also 210 days, or 7 prophetic months, before 6 September 2029, which is the abomination day. So that tied it together for me, and I realized, okay, because this means a prophetic count means that you can shift from one timeline to the other. If this was 211 days, it wouldn't have been the same thing. Okay, but now this is quite interesting. Now, in my previous video, I explained a little bit of a conundrum that we have, because the time between the phases, it's not a constant 7 weeks like we have with our weeks. And our calendars are fixed. Obviously, our calendars can't be flexible like the moon. We don't have that intelligence to be able to do it like that. So here you can see 28 April, and there you can see it's Nisan 1. So 28 April, Nisan 1 on the Nisan 15 calendar, and it's New Moon Day on the Nisan 14 calendar. And you know the difference between the two. The one is heaven and the one is earth. The one is equinox based and the other one is based on the star Abib for determination of New Year. And it's just basically a representation of the book of John and the Synoptic Gospels, and where they respectively have the crucifixion on the 15th or the 14th. They have a discrepancy, but it's not really. They were using different calendars. The Synoptics were using the Nisan 15 calendar, and John was using the Nisan 14 calendar. And that is why there's seemingly a discrepancy that the Muslims love to point out that there is, but there isn't. But anyway, so that is 28th of April. And we're counting from there, you can see crucifixion is on the 12th of May. And this is where we have a conundrum, because we have 16 days from here. But I explained how to get past this in a previous video, and I will quickly explain it again. But so we have the crucifixion on the 12th of May. It's a constant Gregorian date, although on the one calendar it's the 15th, and on the other calendar it's the 15th. But you can see the Last Supper on both calendars is 11 May, although it is 14 and 13 Nisan. So 11 May was the Last Supper, but at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock's given to us. So it's not just, God didn't just point out and say the midpoint there was 11 May. He said it's 6 o'clock, 11 May, when we were having our supper. And it is the Last Supper, the day before crucifixion. And this blew me away. But like I said, there is a problem, because the 13th of May is the date of the full moon, which on the full moon calendar falls on the 16th of Nisan. Now, I have discussed this before, because in the previous video on the timeline, I said that the 13th of May, which is Nisan 16, we have to use that on the Mazzaroth. Now, sometimes I think people might get confused between the first Passover month, which begins with the spring equinox, and the second Passover month, which follows on that. And you can use the Nisan 14, 15 for each, because those are calendars that run concurrent throughout the year. But the Mazzaroth itself is a symbolic representation of the second Passover month. And on the Mazzaroth, May the 13th, whatever the date here is, will be Nisan 15. That is God's anniversary. The dark moon is God's anniversary for his crucifixion, and he uses the moon. He doesn't use our calendars and our imperfect way of trying to measure time and all that. He goes by the moon cycle. And I'm going to quickly insert a slide here. And the best way to represent this in our limited form of expression was, you can see over here, I've got the Nisan 14 and 15 calendars, and that's the two different calendars between the Synoptics and John. And there's new moon during Nisan 1, and it starts, and you have crucifixion on Nisan 14, you have crucifixion on Nisan 15. Now, the Mazzaroth is similar to the second Passover calendar, but the second Passover calendar is earth-based. So it's either Nisan 14 or 15, it runs concurrent, but it's still earth-based. But the Mazzaroth is a symbolic representation of that second month, because the Mazzaroth is a month behind the stars, the constellations. The Mazzaroth is a month behind where we are. And on the Mazzaroth, the crucifixion day will always be on the dark moon. So basically this day, this Nisan 1 is either this Nisan 1, the date. So in other words, if that is 28, 29, then that Nisan 1 will be 29, because dates marked Nisan 1. It can also be new moon day, and it can also be this Nisan 1 date. But this one is flexible as long as the dark moon falls on crucifixion day. I hope this makes sense. This is the only way to do it in a sort of a scientific way that's repeatable. But there has to be a way to do it. But yes, God uses the dark moon only. That is his anniversary date. But then you have to ask yourself, now, why would God do it like this? Now, obviously, it is because the moon phases are different between 6 days, ranging from 6 days to 8 days and all that. But I believe that God specifically shows us this difference between the second Passover calendar, which is earth-based, with the crucifixion being on the 12th, and this is now where you have the crucifixion on the 12th, and the Mazzaroth, which is heavenly-based, showing the crucifixion on the 13th, and you can see it, 13th of May over there. That's the second Passover. And it is, but he does this on important dates, and it is to illustrate that heaven is 24 hours ahead because of what God did for Joshua's army. And it was the biggest demonstration of God's power since creation. It's amazing to me that some people are hesitant to believe that God can at a whim freeze the whole universe. The whole universe He can freeze. But at the same time, they believe that God created the universe. And if you are scientific minded, he created it with a big bang, like a massive explosion, an instantaneous creation. I mean, both of them are equally um, awe-inspiring. I struggle for words. My vocabulary in English is as limited as a 12-year-old's. So please excuse me, it's not my native language. So as I was busy with this, I thought, okay, man, let me work out the date of Shavuot, but using the Maseroth, which has got the crucifixion on the dark moon, which is May the 13th. So in other words, the count starts at 15th, and you can see over here I've entered 14 because this counter always begins the first day then on 15, and it's 50 days, and the date is 3 July, which is 30 days difference. And interestingly enough, it's exactly 1,260 days to 14 December as well. And I just thought to myself, this is very unique. I think that all these days would fit in like this. So you have the 1,260, you have the 1,290 plus the 1,335, and together they are 6 years, 434 days, and that is 2 times the time after Jesus' birthday, which is 3 years, 217 days times 2. So in order for all this to work, obviously Jesus' birthday must be correct and crucifixion day must be correct. And I just thought this is very unique. I don't know if it's correct, but I'm just saying there's a lot of coincidences in here. I am going to have to make a reference to this again. I'm sorry if I repeat myself many times because I believe that people forget things. I do. I make a video and then after a while I forget about the video and then I found the information out again and I'm like surprised, or I realize, oh my word, I have done this before. And yeah, so it's always good to repeat things. But this is the year 2029, and you can see that's March 30th. That will be the first full moon after the spring equinox. And here we have April 28th, which is the first full moon after the star Bib rises in that cycle. And these two were always in sync during the time of Jesus, but they've grown apart, and they're a month apart now due to the precession of the equinox. And here you can see I've got 2029, I've got the 30th of March in here. And I just made it 12 o'clock because it's a nice round number. And you can see that the sun is in Pisces. And not just Pisces or Adar, preferably, let's call it Adar. But the first fish, there is the vertical fish. So it's not even through Adar yet. And here you can see I've got the 28th of April in the year 2029, also at 12 o'clock. And the sun is in Nisan. And this is April. That is the second Passover month, is astronomically correct. And our one that is tied to the spring equinox is not astronomically correct. But it is correct for us because it is tied to our seasons. So both these are correct. But this one is correct from heaven's perspective. And that's why I call it the Maseroth, because that is from where God rules, and he uses the earth as his footstool. Okay, so we've seen that 11 March is the Last Supper. That's 2029. It's in the midpoint of this timeline of year, and it's at 6 o'clock, Last Supper. The true Last Supper date in that year. That is the true Last Supper date. And then in Daniel 9 we read, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. Now this little phrase here is confusing, because obviously it means that Jesus was killed. But it also means more than that. There's a deeper level to everything Daniel says. So let's look into that. But I just changed it here. I said it. And after 62 weeks is 434 days, shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. So we're looking at Strong's H3772. And you can see it over here, to be cut off, 3772. Okay, so that is what we're looking at. We want to know what it means. So we can see that it means to cut off, cut down, cut off a body part, cut off, eliminate, kill, cut a covenant. And I've specifically marked it here. To cut or make a covenant. So it means to be killed, which refers to Jesus' crucifixion, which would have happened the next day after the Last Supper. But it also means to make a covenant. So there's a dual meaning here. And this covenant, there's only one covenant Jesus made with us, and that was made at the Last Supper. Okay, so now we're going to read Daniel 9 again. But these verses now read differently. So, and after 62 weeks, now this is a code. It's 464 days, and it's meant to tell you that you have to multiply his existing period of ministry, or from when the counter began at the age of 30 times 2. Shall Messiah be cut off? Make a covenant. Now, he made his covenant at the Last Supper. So here we can see the Last Supper. And that is the code we used. 217, 460, well, 434. Sorry, it's so small. But not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Now, this is in 2029, and at this point, the wars are going on. April 13, Popo says he did flyby the 4 angels that were prepared for a year, month, or are being prepared for a year, month, a day, has started their preparation on 13 April. So everything is going. And shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Now, this is 7 months before the mark of the beast on the 6th, 7 prophetic months, in other words, 210 days before the mark of the beast on the 6th of December 2029. And 10 days after that, I have it as the beginning of the Third World War. And therefore, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war, this is the war that I'm talking about, desolations are determined. So this is the war that breaks out on 16 December 2029. It could break out on the 6th. It could, I'm not saying definitely, I'm just surmising. So I do a timeline, and my interpretation of the timeline is terrible, probably. But these dates don't lie. Now look at the next verse, because this is the same, it's saying the same thing basically, but just from a different angle, and I love that. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. So this is Jesus' week. And it's not exactly 7 years, it's 6 years, 434 days. So it's a little bit more than 7 years. But that is the week that Jesus had. And he shall confirm a covenant. Now, the covenant was made on the Last Supper. There was no other covenant made with us by Jesus. And in the midst of the week, and we know now, in the midst of the week is where a covenant was made, and it was made on the Last Supper. He shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. This is just the crucifixion, which is the next day. But it's also the end of the 1335 day count, which I believe is about 23 days after that. And a new rapture date, this 1335, I believe now could be the new rapture date, because it does say that after those that make it 1335 days will be blessed. So I'm keeping an open mind on everything, of course. As new information comes in, I change my mind. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation. The consummation is just the lake of fire. The abominations, we know what that is. The overspreading, we also know that it's increasing. So that which began over here is going to be increasing in intensity and leading up to the mark of the beast itself on 6th December. I have it. And the lake of fire and the determined shall be poured out on the desolate, those that take the mark of the beast, and the not body temples are only desolate, but they've lost the free will, which is Revelation 6:9. Men will seek death, and death will flee from them. they are going to go into the lake of fire. If you take the mark of the beast, you are done. There is no undoing the genetic editing that will be done to you at that point. It will not. The technology doesn't exist, and you can never go back to the way how God made you. Now, God maybe knows you by your name, but I'm sure when He looks at me, He doesn't see Eddie. He sees my genetic footprint. That's maybe not a very good word. My genetic makeup, my atoms, that how He made me. And if you change that, you are no longer in His image. And that is why Satan has always been about genetic corruption. That is what happened with the Nephilim. That is what's happened many times. And it's always about genetic corruption. I'm going to end the video here, but I have continued with my research, and what I've done further to this is this 3 years and 217 days. In a previous video, I deconstructed it into the first 40 days after his birthday to baptism, and then the 40 days in the desert, and then the 7 days journey to Cana, and then the days after that. Now, of course, every year it's different because the moon phases vary, and they only repeat on the Metonic cycle every 19 years. So I worked it out for this specific year, which is 2025, and I found some very interesting little timelines within timelines that correspond to numbers given in chapter 1 of the book of Maccabees, leading up to the abomination on the 15th of Kislev. That actually takes us to a date on the 14th of December, 1 year before this, in the year 31, but in the year 31, that 14th December is also the 15th of Kislev. And I just thought, wow, which means that it leaves me a year where either it's a year shortened or it's possibly referring to Isaiah 53 about that terrible year of the Lord. That also mentions the sky rolling up, and but anyway, okay, I'm gonna leave it there because the video is getting long, and as it is, I have like a handful of people watching them, and it's getting less, and I think after this video I'll probably lose half of them as well. But you have to understand one thing, and please, the contamination that is to come is genetic, and you can see that the first onslaught against humanity was on the 14th of December. That day is marked by signs in the heavens and by the calendar, and what actually what happened on that day. I'm sorry, it's getting late. Just maybe as a little note, little footnote, the 7th of October is also the day on which the 20-point peace plan was proposed or made public for the first time. That's another reason why I thought to mention it. But yeah, listen, guys, you must keep well. All the best to you, really. Be strong in the God. Be strong in the God. Be strong in God. I bless you in the name of Jesus. Goodbye.